Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal, and recently we got a pretty sizable new blue post going over some of the future updates coming to World of Warcraft, whether we're talking about classic World of Warcraft like Classic Hardcore, Season of Discovery, or even some of the retail updates as well, with additional news for patch 10.6. Though it seems like Blizzard has taken a different approach with this update, one that quite a few in the community have wanted to see at some point in the future. One of the things that happens pretty often with every new WoW update is that it goes up for testing over on the PTR. This comes with some positives and negatives. The positives would be players being able to test the features, find bugs, find issues to hopefully get resolved before the release, with a bit of a downside that all the content on all of the new updates are kind of spoiled, so players kind of already know what's going to be happening before the update even hits the live realms. But it looks like patch 10.6 is going to be changing that. Today I want to go over all of the new updates coming to World of Warcraft for all the different aspects from classic to retail, and then go over what to expect for the patch 10.6, which is arriving sometime soon. But right before we get into the updates, most of you guys watching these kind of videos are still not subscribed. However, the more of you guys remind, the more of you do. So if you enjoy the content on this channel for classic or retail stuff, be sure to hit subscribe. Otherwise, let's get into the new updates. Starting off, we have even more classic Season of Discovery updates, as the Phase 2 is set to launch later this week on Thursday, February the 8th. To help players prepare for the Phase 2 update, Season of Discovery currently has an experience buff that is active as of today, which offers a fairly sizable catch-up bonus of 50% additional experience from all activities until you reach level 25. The EXP buff being introduced for Season of Discovery offers a couple of benefits. First of all, for any players that are late or just starting out Season of Discovery or have never tried it but have always wanted to, this is a way for players to easily catch up into some of the Phase 2 content so that you're not too far behind when it comes to your leveling journey. And two, for any players looking to explore more than one class, with so many different updates coming for a variety of classes with so many different ruins and playstyle options that are being offered on the table, this gives players an opportunity to catch up a couple of vaults before Phase 2 launches or even after Phase 2 has officially gone live. Part of this Phase 2 update will offer plenty of new content, such as a raid and even more open world activities, as well as dungeons, but also even more class changes, either with additional abilities that your classes will be able to unlock as you level towards level 40, the new level cap of Phase 2, or with some of the new runes that will bring in familiar expansion-specific abilities, but also some brand new playstyles that have never been seen before. And also, one of the biggest parts of Season of Discovery is the discovery element. A good portion of this update isn't fully data mined and isn't fully spoiled, which gives plenty of opportunity for players to discover the content fresh for themselves. To continue off with even more classic World of Warcraft updates, Classic Hardcore Self-Found mode is being released in late February. Part of this mode is still going to continue on with the same hardcore rule set. Your character has only one life, and when they die, that character's journey is completely over. However, Self-Found does add additional rules like restrictions from being able to trade with other players, access your mailbox, and limits your access to the auction house. Your character will be solely reliant on your own loot that you can collect through your leveling journey within Azeroth, just to make that hardcore experience even more challenging than before. Along with the hardcore update, we also got additional news about Classic Cataclysm Beta. While not a lot of information has been released recently, we did see a new updated version of the 2024 Classic WoW roadmap that actually has moved the launch of Cataclysm Beta to after the release of the Classic Self-Found mode, which means that the new date for Classic Beta will now be launching closer to spring. For now, this is the only delay that we've seen so far from any of the roadmaps for either retail version or the classic version of World of Warcraft, but it is a little bit surprising and maybe even worrying that we are starting to see some kind of delays for the WoW roadmap. Crossing my fingers in hopes that we won't see any more of these, because I would love to see Classic Cataclysm get a proper launch and hopefully a better experience than the initial version of WoW did. Now onto some patch 10.6 updates. In a recent massive blue post, Blizzard devs have revealed that 10.6 will not have an official PTR for us to test upon, which is quite different but also quite surprising compared to all of the other updates we've seen for World of Warcraft thus far. However, 10.6 from the beginning has been a bit of a secretive update. All we've seen when it comes to the roadmap for 10.6 is a pirate flag and then 10.6 above it, and that's it. A lot of players have been making guesses and speculations as to what this update may offer, with us hoping that maybe potentially Blizz will get this update online on PTR just so we can get a sneak peek at some of the content that is arriving. However, there will not be any testing for this update. Instead, what we know is that it will be some sort of an in-game event that will be available for all WoW players, even if you did not purchase a Dragonflight. So as long as you have an active subscription for whether you play Classic or whether you play Retail, every player will get access to this new event. We also get to know that 10.6 will be arriving sometime in March, and that 10.6 already has the content set up for Season 4. Just when the patch initially launches, all of that will be hidden away from us until the official release of Season 4 update. To me, this reads that basically Season 4 is done and ready to go, with all of the different dungeons that will be available for the Mythic Plus, as well as the raids, the different affixes, and any of the other seasonal changes that we are planned to expect. And that kind of makes sense since Season 4 is going to be very similar to the Season 4 of the last expansion of Shadowlands, where they didn't necessarily add a lot of new content, but rather they found new ways to re-experience some of the older raids, and even offered brand new dungeons for that entire season with brand new affixes. But they mostly treated it as an update that's kind of like a holdover until the very next expansion of Dragonflight. From the sound of things, Season 4 will function very similarly. Like the Shadowlands Season 4, Dragonflight Season 4 is going to likely reuse the same 3 raids that were added throughout this expansion, but they'll probably add some kind of a new spin or a new set of affixes for us to interact with. But also this means there'll potentially be some kind of a bad luck protection or maybe even a gear vendor, so you'll be able to catch up and buy some of the raid gear directly in order to have as best of a Season 4 experience as possible. As for dungeons, there are either two options. Either they'll end up using every single Dragonflight dungeon that was added for this expansion, with dungeons such as the Ruby Life Pools, Algathar Academy, Brackenhide, and the like. Or, and this is what I'm personally hoping for, maybe a whole new array of unexpected dungeons, like the Mr. Pandaria version of Scholomance, or even the Scarlet Monastery. We also know that Season 4 stuff will be launching to PTR after the launch of 10.6, so that the content can be thoroughly tested. So if anything, we'll be able to see additional updates for Season 4 specifically, but we'll have to wait for it up until March, which gives us a better idea of when Season 4 may be arriving. Following Dragonflight, we also have the next World of Warcraft expansion, The War Within Alpha. While no official statement has been given regarding the alpha, like no release date or any specific plans or when we might be able to see it, it does seem like it is still planned on the roadmap to be released shortly after the patch 10.6 goes live. Unlike the Cataclysm and Classic WoW roadmap, we haven't seen any of those additional changes or delays over on the retail side of things. So it seems that the War Within Alpha is still set to launch on about the same time as it did during the original announcement, which means that hopefully there won't be delays, at least when it comes to the next retail WoW expansion. But for now, that's going to be all of the newest updates that are available in this most recent blue post. I'm not gonna lie, the Cataclysm delay is a little bit worrying. Hopefully we won't see a trend of future delays for future projects going forward. Very excited to see what Cataclysm is going to look like, as it is the expansion that I started playing World of Warcraft, and I'm really hoping that it has a smooth launch and has its own time in the spotlight, a time that I feel like just wasn't quite done well during its initial release. But for retail stuff, I'm also hoping we see no further delays. Very excited to see what patch 10.6 offers. What are your thoughts in the comments down below on their new approach for 10.6 update? The biggest issue I would have with it is every WoW update comes with a couple of issues, a couple of bugs, sometimes a lot of bugs, and testing for PTR usually helps iron those things out or find ways to tune and balance classes, but it looks like there will be mostly an event that they're really trying to obscure, not a major class rework. But hopefully we'll see additional class changes and possible reworks before Season 4, and whenever that hits on PTR after the release of 10.6. As per usual, if you guys enjoyed this video or found it informative, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it. And as always, in the description of every single video and live stream, we have a link to our Discord community channel. Probably the best place to reach out to me directly in case you want to let me know what you thought about this video or hang out with the rest of the community to discuss some of the upcoming changes. Join our Discord to become part of the community. But otherwise, thank you all so much for watching this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. And as always, I'll see all of you guys in another video.